There's a lot of question marks right now around how exactly the lore is going to play out, what exactly is going to happen with the expansion as a whole. Now, I've just finished recording a video, probably the most difficult video that I've recorded ever. And I don't even want to know how Alex fared with editing that video. But it's the video for the next sponsorship, and it's about the negativity, you know, the negative crowd in World of Warcraft versus the shill crowd or the Blizzard faithful or whatever you want to call them. It's about the whole negativity within World of Warcraft and how do we actually overcome this negativity. But a part of that negativity actually comes from the lore community. Now, in many ways, I do want to say, if you're negative about World of Warcraft's lore, then you're probably not paying attention. There is definitely parts that we can be negative about, things that Blizzard in the past have done that really just begs the question, what the fuck are you doing, Blizzard? But then there's other parts of the lore that is absolutely outstanding and absolutely amazing. And having played Final Fantasy now for quite some time, I do have to say there's a couple of things that Final Fantasy does much better than World of Warcraft in terms of how they present their story. And I'm not even paying that much attention to the story in Final Fantasy, but the story is presented, I think, far more superior. I don't know if the story is on the level of World of Warcraft story, so I do have to just say that right off the bat. I've not dived deep enough into the lore for Final Fantasy to know, but they definitely do a hell of a job presenting you with the story in the game. Like, you get the idea as you're playing through the story that certain things is extremely important and you should sort of pay attention to these things. Versus in World of Warcraft, most of the story is actually told outside of the fucking game, right? And the story that is told in the game is sometimes presented very boring. And so it leaves a lot of gaps. Can I ask in chat very quickly, how many people are a little bit scared that we're gonna get another WoD or even another BFA where the story gets cut short and it eventually just falls flat? How many people in chat right now is very, very afraid of that happening? All right, it seems like a lot of people. It seems like the majority of people are very scared of this. I don't think Blizzard has the ability to do that. I don't think Blizzard has the ability to get away with that in this expansion. And there's a couple of reasons for it. In WoD, for example, the lore had very few implications on the future of World of Warcraft, apart from setting up Legion. That's all the lore for WoD actually was meant to do. It was meant to only set up Legion, and it at least managed to do that, right? It did set up Legion. From there, all of the other parts of the lore would have been interesting to play through, but it wouldn't have been pivotal to the future of the story. The problem with Shadowlands is all of Shadowlands' lore is meant to set up the future for World of Warcraft. I did a poll on YouTube. Let's just quickly see if I can get to that poll. I asked the question over on YouTube posts. Would you like recurring villainous characters like Azara, Xal'atath, or Denathrius to pop up from time to time? 82% of people said yes, that's exactly what they want. I agree with this, by the way. Absolutely agree that we need to see more villainous characters and characters that comes back. I don't want to see brand new characters the whole time, but World of Warcraft currently has a massive issue. They've run out of villains. Sargeras is gone. He's on the Pantheon now. There might be a future story with him, but that story isn't going to be there for at least another 2 or 3 expansions before that story will be ready to actually fucking come out, right? You have the issue where Azara has gone somewhere. We know we're going to have to deal with her at some point. Xal'atath has left. We know we're going to have to deal with her. Denathrius is a brand new character that's just been introduced. Now, that's what I believe Shadowlands is meant to do. It's meant to introduce the new lore characters, the new villains, so to speak, but also introduce some new heroes. And we're already seeing some of those heroes make their return, right? At the moment, we're seeing Bolvar's daughter. Fucking names, bro. Oh my god. No, not Gul'dan. Gul'dan is pretty much gone. Talia, thank you very much. We see Talia being introduced. We see Jaina being introduced hard, right? Up until now, Jaina has been sort of part of the story. Like, she's always pushed parts of the story, but she's very rarely a major character within the lore. She's being set up to be a major character in the lore. Anduin has had his build up over the last 2 expansions to become one of the major characters within the lore. And then, it seems like we're on the verge of saying goodbye to some of the other characters. And when you ask me the question, is Shadowlands going to be another WoD? My answer is, I don't see how. Because it's not like you can rush the story of Shadowlands. If you rush the story of Shadowlands, there's no fucking story. The story hasn't even started yet. Quick question. How many of you think that the story is about the jailer and sort of the jailer being the ultimate evil? How many of you in chat think that that's actually what it is? Let's not even talk about Thrall. The dude's fucking useless. Like, literally, Thrall and Bane gives men everywhere a fucking bad name. What did they do as soon as they came out of Torghast? Sat on the steps and did absolutely fuck all while the ladies had to take care of business. What the fuck is that? I'm sorry, no. Let's not even talk about Thrall and Bane. They've given us miserable names. We're gonna have to wait for them to fix their shit before we even talk about Thrall and Bane. And don't give me that whole, oh, they're tired. Bane was rescued first. Bane was rescued fucking first, dude. Like, that guy had more time to rest than anyone else. Jaina didn't go sit on the steps after we rescued her. She got back to work immediately. So, yeah, I don't even want to talk about them. But anyways, for those of you that got fucking butthurt over that, it's a joke. If you really did get butthurt, fuck off. I don't care. But okay, so the fact of the matter... Okay, so back to the original question that I actually did want to ask. How many of you believe that the main story for World of Warcraft, or for Shadowlands, is Zuvul the big bad killing the Arbiter? Alright, if anyone thinks, if there's anyone in chat that thinks, yes, that is the story, then 9.1 is the final expansion, the final patch for the expansion. Because it's over. Zuvul, literally in the final fight, Zuvul looks as if he defeats the Archon. He at least shoots her with a fucking beam of some kind. And whatever, something happens then, we haven't seen exactly what, but... So Zuvul is already at the Arbiter. He's already doing the thing that he's supposed to be doing there. So if that was the ultimate thing within this expansion, then Blizzard really skipped a lot of steps, because 9.1 feels like it should be 9.3. Feels like it should be the final raid. We're already raiding his home. So clearly Blizzard has some kind of huge dodgeball that they want to throw out at some point. Some kind of curveball that's going to take the lore in a completely different direction. And I believe that the Bronze Dragonflight is going to fuck with the timeline. Because we have 2 options. Option number 1 is deal with N'Zoth and the Old Gods, right? Or kill N'Zoth and the Old Gods, but Shadowlands. These are the 2 options we have. We can't have our cake and eat it too. So we can't defeat N'Zoth and stop the Shadowlands. The whole thing was we defeated N'Zoth, but that allowed Sylvanas enough time to open the Shadowlands. The Shadowlands remaining open is also not really an option, as far as I can say, can tell at least. If the Shadowlands remains open, then how the hell is this gonna play out? Like, how are you gonna make this work? I personally, if you ask my personal opinion, I don't think we should have gone to the Shadowlands. I don't think we should have shown up in the Shadowlands at any point in time, because the Shadowlands gives us a peek behind the veil, and I feel like it's a veil that should not have been ripped open. I feel like you can't put that back in the box. Like, how do you, from this point forward, how do you put that back in the box? How do you close that chapter? You can't, right? The Shadowlands is now open, and mortals can sort of travel freely into the Shadowlands as much as they want. So the realms of death have been defeated, unless, of course, the Shadowlands isn't the realms of death, which we've argued before might be very real and might be a real possibility. But at the end of the day, it's still it's gonna leave a gaping wound within the story that I don't know if Blizzard can fix. So this is the one expansion that I don't see Blizzard rushing, even if that means that they're running behind schedule. I don't see how they can rush it. I don't think there's actual room to rush it. Because if you rush it, you fuck up the story. Then there is no story. You've not told the story of the Shadowlands. There is nothing to go further on if you rush this expansion. Now, the question, of course, becomes, will the bean counters over at Blizzard Entertainment actually see it the same way? Or will they just be like, no, you're going to rush it and you're going to bring out a new expansion? My personal opinion is that Blizzard have fucked themselves right into a corner with this whole every 2 years a brand new expansion and every 3 or 4 months a new patch. Ellie giggle, of course, there's no new patches at the minute. But I feel like they fucked themselves into a corner that they're not going to be able to get out of. Blizzard needs to change their entire approach to how they develop the game. Patches need to maybe take longer to come out. Expansion should last longer than 2 years. I would be okay with 2, 3, 4 year expansions if that means consistently new content within that expansion that tells the story right up until the end of the story, and then the new expansion comes out and it gives us an incredible amount more to work with, after 2 or 3 years of an expansion, where now you can actually get a good expansion out to the player base because you had that time to develop it. That's something that I would be on board with, but that's neither here nor there. That's not part of this conversation that we're having now.